What's up, everybody? Happy 2026. We've got a ad podcast for you guys, the first show of 2026. And we've got an exciting show for you guys today. We've got Alexandre Kubo and Lucas Ribeiro. They are the co-authors of Principle 128, which are 128 principles on how to become a creative in the advertising agency world. Alex is a Brazilian creative leader, art director, and author with only over 20 years of experience in advertising and design. He's worked at top global agencies, including McCann, Goodby Silverstein and Partners, Hill Holliday, CP+B, BETC, and J. Walter Thompson, contributing to campaigns for major brands like Smirnoff, Budweiser, Stella, Coke, BMW, Gatorade, Puma, and ESPN. And he's also been recognized with awards at the Cannes Lions, D&AD, One Show, ADC, and Clio, among others. In addition to his agency work, he teaches at institutions like Miami Ad School and has co-authored the book that we're talking about today. Lucas is also a Brazilian advertising creative known for his work as an associate creative director at McCann, where he works on high-profile campaigns and helps shape creative strategy. He started his career in Rio as a copywriter and has worked at major agencies including CP+B, BETC, MoMA Propaganda, Africa, and TBWA, as well as doing an exchange at Alma DDB in Miami. Throughout his career, Lucas has contributed to campaigns for global brands and has won awards at top industry festivals like the Lions, D&AD, Clio, One Show, and others. And he is also the co-author of Principle 128. Principle 128 is a book about how to become a creative and advertising agency exec. It's a career book that these guys wrote aimed at people starting out in the advertising and creative roles. And it presents 128 practical principles the authors learned over more than 20 years in the industry, drawing from their experience at major agencies and also mentoring young creative talent. Lucas, Causo, thanks, man. Appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This was awesome to hear like a summary of 20 years in one sentence.
Yeah, sorry if that was a little long-winded, but so obviously I gave kind of the professional version, but I love to start the show, and especially I think this is important because your book is about how to get started in the industry. And it's meant as a guidebook or maybe a encyclopedia of different things that people can learn as they're trying to grow their careers or get into the industry. So for those who are interested in the industry, and we're in tectonic moments of shift also in our space. So why don't you guys talk a little bit about where you grew up and how did you both get into the industry yourselves?
Yeah, this is awesome. It's great because for everyone it's different, right? There's of course the average path. I'd say people go to college, then they go to Miami Ad School or Denver Ad School, and they find an agency and they start their careers. For Lucas and I was different. My first job was in the army. And
wow, no way.
But let me talk about my background. I'm from south of Brazil.
Yeah.
And I started learning Photoshop with my dad actually at home. He had a computer back then. He was one of the few parents with a computer at the time, and in 1990s, I don't know, something. So I started like using Photoshop to paint my drawings, and I would draw and have fun on Choreo Draw at the time was the previous Illustrator, and then I started learning all these tools. And when I got to the army, because in Brazil it's mandatory to sign up.
I didn't realize that. So
it's
like Israel kind of.
Yeah, I didn't want to go to the army, and usually people don't go if they don't want to. But that year they needed more people, so they got me. So I started in the first day in the army. They asked, "Hey, who knows how to paint walls?" And a bunch of people. Who knows how to cook? Yeah, a bunch of people. Who knows Photoshop? I was the only one, of course. And they placed me in the design department. I was designing a newspaper for the army and taking pictures of the events and writing the stories. So it was really fun. I learned about advertising and design in the army, and using my skills I used to use for like just to have fun. I was using to work. And of course, at night I would spend the night with the shotgun, like as a guard. But
Killing
Let's
people.
go.
no, not killing people. No, Brazilian army is super chill. It's not like in the US that you really
Yeah,
go to war. No,
yeah,
we don't fight
I was gonna
wars.
say I don't remember Brazil, being a participant in any
No,
Middle Eastern conflicts or colonialism or anything.
no,
So
no, no,
Dylan, but you
not
see,
at all.
Dylan, you see the problem that I have now. Like I can't deny, I can't refuse his ideas.
right?
No, I
I
hate
love it.
guns. I hate guns, especially now that I have a kid. I have a 7-year-old kid. I avoid to talk about guns and having guns, even like plastic toy guns, because I know how harmful they are. And I saw some bad things happening with people
Sure.
that, yeah, they are not too careful with them. So yeah, I started like doing that in the army. And the day I left the army, I started in an ad agency. So I loved it. Of
Ah,
course, it was super different, completely opposite. Like people like working with music, loud music, people having fun, making jokes. You can't do that in the army. And I felt, okay, this is perfect. It's way better than what I had. So let's focus. So then I went to college and did the I'd say the average path.
nice. And does the Army help pay for school the way that it does here in the US? Like, do you get benefits from being in the Army?
No, the opposite. They paid like real shit salary. It was like
Mm,
$300.
that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Lucas, your turn. So, how did you get into
Sh-
the industry?
should I go from the childhood? Just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about where you grew up, and how did you where'd you go to school, and how did you get into the space?
No, so actually, well, I'm from Rio, from the suburbs of Rio. It's different from the suburbs compared like to the United States. And actually, I was very encouraged by my parents to be creative, and
Hmm.
I even have this story. I think Kazu doesn't know about this. When I was like about 7, 8 years old, I had this contest in my school. Like it was sponsored by McDonald's, like a bunch of schools in Rio, and I had to like write a love note like for my dad, and I won the contest in my school, so it like
Oh,
represents
let's go.
it was like super cool. Anyway, so I kind of like I had this relation like with writing since like I was a kid. uh and then like when I was deciding to go to college, I didn't know exactly what to do, so like I took like some tests, but in my mind was something related to writing, like. And then I found out about like advertising, so it was like, yeah, I think it can be fun, like it's about creating, but related to brands. And I used to surf, like I'm coming back to surf now, but like I used to surf, so like I had this passion, like for the brands like Quicksilver, this
Mm.
sort of brands.
You're
So like,
you're speaking my language, obviously, right?
exactly. So like it was awesome. So like my passion, like I think like between sports and brands and my career like all started at the same time, I would say. But yeah, so I started there in Rio. I worked there for a few years. But in Brazil, you know what? Like if you want to grow in this career, you have to move to São Paulo at some point.
Mm.
São Paulo has the big clients, the big budgets. So, and because when we moved, it's a coincidence, but we moved at the same time, the same year to São Paulo. And then we started working together. And it's been 10 years, almost 11 years working together.
That's wild. So you guys were able to kind of go from place to place together then.
Exactly. We worked for 6 years in São Paulo, and then we moved to Boston, and then New York, San Francisco, and now I'm here in LA. We are here in LA.
That's amazing. Yeah, it kind of reminds me like one of the things you hear about a lot in the entertainment industry is like screenwriting teams, like sometimes brothers. And like, the way that it works in the screenwriting industry is you basically get two people for the price of one, right? Because, the script still costs the same amount of money, whether one person writes it or two. So sometimes there's some advantages to like teaming up in the screenwriting industry, but I never knew that creatives, can kind of be a team and move from agency to agency together, which is kind of interesting. I've been in the space for 13 years, so that's a little bit of an insight for me. So what was the genesis for you guys to leave Brazil and come to the American market? What was that opportunity, and why did you guys want to come to the U.S. market?
I play hockey, ice hockey, and there's no ice in Brazil, so that was the reason.
Let's go. Let's go.
My wife doesn't
Make,
know it was the main
make,
reason, but yeah,
makes sense.
now
Makes
she will know.
sense.
No, we always had this dream because here's the main market. As we did the same move in Brazil, like looking for the biggest market that is São Paulo. We moved like after 10 years working in our hometowns, we moved to São Paulo to look for better opportunities, better agencies, better clients. We did the same with the United States. We had always had this goal. That's why we did a quick internship in Miami, which was amazing to get to know the market and get familiar, and especially to learn that we will have to like improve a lot of our vocabulary, our language. It's still not good enough, but it's getting better. But at that time was tough. Like even we were trying to present an idea in English, and the guy said, "Try in Portuguese. I think I will understand better." That level. So yeah,
that's funny, man. Well, so you guys have obviously had amazing careers and worked at some, storage shops, CP+B, GSSP. I mean, you've worked at some huge places and worked on some massive brands. I imagine at some point you guys went from being, kind of hands-on keyboards, hands-on pencils, or whatever your modality was, into being creative executives that were managing teams of people under you. And obviously your book is kind of dedicated to helping people starting out in the industry and growing as creatives. What was it that inspired you guys to write this book? Like, what was the thing that you were seeing missing in the market where people didn't have these foundational tactics and principles? Like, what was keeping you up at night where you decided that you needed to write a book about creative mentorship?
Yeah, that was crazy because we've been teaching advertising for 8 years now. We started in some schools in Brazil, and then Miami Ad School. There's global, and then some programs like D&AD Shift and LIA, the London International Awards Festival.
Yeah,
They have a
yep,
program
I've
as
seen
well.
their emails about their program. It seems like a pretty cool thing.
So yeah, we've been teaching and talking to creatives and reviewing portfolios for a long time. And when we became the creative directors for the first time in 2018, we saw that we had a lot of content to pass on, and we had our way of doing things. And because we were teaching, I think it was very didactic. So we started like putting the words into paper and writing articles and writing stuff and posting on LinkedIn or Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And people are like sharing and really appreciating and coming to us for advice and almost like asking for mentorship. So we saw it almost as a natural thing to do, put our content in a book. And it was during the pandemic, was kind of slow, so we decided to write it, and it took us, it was fast to write. Then to publish it took almost a year, but nowadays it's way easier with Amazon and everything. It's automatic with AI. So yeah, the first time we published in Brazil, it took us a year, so it was a long way, but it was like was super good to see the result and the people talking about it and sharing. People we never talked before, they were like liking the book and sharing good stuff about it, so recommending. This felt super special. Here's
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love it.
I just want to go back to like a point in our careers. Before we were creative directors, we saw a bunch of things that we didn't like, like that we as creatives didn't feel inspired by like people who we worked with, like our bosses or even like some people around us. And we started like discussing a lot, and I think like this is one of the things that help us to keep working together, like, and form this team. We saw like opportunities like to do different. So when we became creative directors, we were like, okay, now it's our time to do the things we want to do, like, and to be the bosses that we never had. kind of. So for us was like this is what we were thinking about when we started like writing down, like we can share this content and help more creatives to feel more happy with their work, like to feel more inspired to produce even more. Sometimes it's about like producing, it's not only about I don't know. Yeah. So, like that's it. Like we feel like every time that we put something out, we feel good about it, So it's something, even the book was something that we did because we weren't doing anything at the agency. It was like, yeah, we have to do something else, So we have this kind of like energy, and yeah, I think that's part of the story.
Yeah, and also I think the fact that we worked in many different types of agencies with different bosses, different teams, different everything. I think we started like collecting the best practices of each place, and now we have all this list of things that we think work better because we tested a lot with different methods, and yeah, it's our way of doing, and it's been working for.
Yeah, and some people tend to think that, oh, I'm gonna share and I'm gonna give my tip, like the things that I've had to like walk the path by myself, and so I don't want to share. And for us, it's different. Like the fact that we are sharing is just the content. The person will have to walk their paths, like, so it's not even a shortcut for us,
Yeah, I love it. I think the idea that you guys were kind of going through this experience together in a partnership. So you had, somebody to talk to, a lot of, like you said, a lot of people are going through their careers and maybe they're new at their agency and they don't have close relationships yet. They don't have close friends. So they're kind of doing it on their own. Hopefully they have a good network of mentors and colleagues from other jobs that they can, call up at night and talk to about the things that they're going through. But I think it's very unique to have this partnership dynamic that you guys have to be able to talk about your experiences kind of in real time. And I love the idea that you guys have been teaching as well for 8 years, because as you mentioned, your classroom kind of became like a laboratory almost, right? Where you could like take these concepts, see what questions, the people who are going through your classes maybe asked and over and identify commonalities and things that helped spark creativity, just the different things that you are implementing in your class, which I think is really awesome as well. So what's the biggest difference between working in an agency in Brazil and working in an agency in America? Like culturally, what was the biggest thing that was like, oh, this is way different here than the way they do it in Brazil?
Brazil is Portuguese and here's English. No. No, but this was really tough, because back in Brazil we had a team of like 22 people. We had 10 brands in our portfolio, so we were in this huge pod, like leading it by ourselves. And then we had to come back as ACDs to the US. We had to come to the US as ACDs because we couldn't like do the same without knowing the language, right? We need to be able to articulate and sell the ideas to the clients and discuss them and even defend them. But language for sure. But the market itself has a big difference. That is, in Brazil they charge clients by media. So all the agencies have media departments, not like a media agency. No, all the agencies have a media department and they charge the clients by media. So you need to produce work to get money, right? So you need to do more and more and more. So our pace in Brazil was like producing every month. There was this week we couldn't go to a shoot because there was another shoot happening in the same day, and this type of thing, like two big things happening at the same time all the time for just two creatives, not even creative directors at the time. So yeah, media is the main thing. And here, because they charge by hour, things take longer and longer and longer. So this is how they get paid, right? So yeah, it's tough to adapt. Like, okay, you're not gonna produce one work by month, but one by year, and that's it. And we love to produce, and that's why we did the book. We do a bunch of side projects because we need to like put work out all the time and to feel like we are being creative and producing. And yeah.
There is
Yeah, go ahead.
another thing about Brazil, especially in the past. Now we have more things, more channels, let's say. But in Brazil, we used to have only one main channel, like TV channel. So like every commercial that you put like out, you could watch on TV. Like it was like for a big brand. So
You
it
would
was
see
like,
everything.
yeah.
And
So like,
everybody would know about it.
so
Yeah.
like we were like talking to the taxi driver, the Uber driver, and he was like, "Yeah, I know, this the commercial." It's like, "Yeah, this is what I do." So it's kind of like different.
Yeah,
You have,
that's interesting. Like, especially obviously with digital now, like you can work on things that you never see, especially if you're not in the target. I've kind of, have a new experience because both of my kids are actors. So like my daughter will be in like a Synchrony bank commercial, and then a client will like text me 6 months later, like, I just saw Tenny in an ad. And then my kids, like my older daughter, she's been in more like toy commercials for Hasbro. So like all her little girlfriends see it on YouTube and stuff like that. So
that's really cool.
yeah, it's interesting because like a lot of times you just don't see the work you work on because you're not either in the target or you don't watch the channel or whatever. So yeah, that's interesting to have. Like, you think about the old days of advertising where it was like print, radio, TV, but like even like having like single centralized media channels from like an ownership perspective is like a whole different component too, which is interesting.
But Dylan, do you know what?
Yep.
Last week I was watching TV and I saw our the commercial we did for BMW when we were at Good BC Racine. And man, I was like, oh, it sparks me, like I still feel like it's the energy because it's different when you watch like live, kind of like not live, but when you're
When
watching
you see it in the
TV.
wild, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting, so it's kind of like really, really cool.
That is cool. So obviously there's a lot of turmoil right now in the industry, a lot of layoffs, Omnicom and IPG, 4,000 people. It's probably harder than ever to break into the industry. What do you say to young people who are coming out of school right now, who have either studied advertising in college or had an experience like Lucas when they were young and did some kind of a school project that kind of got them excited about the space, but maybe they, haven't had a opportunity to build a big portfolio? Like, what advice would you give to young people who want to break into the industry right now when it's kind of in the most chaos that we've seen in modern, in the last 10 years, maybe?
Yeah, stuff. The future is uncertain for sure. We now with the AI revolution and everything. I don't know, but what I know is all the brands and clients, they will always need advertising, right? They need to talk about their products. I don't know how they will do this in 5-10 years, if there will be agencies or they will have in-houses and that's it, or they will hire creators and they will do all the work by themselves. I really don't know, but I know they will need. So if you are creative, if you like to do like cool stuff, like videos and images and hiring and working with, collaborating with some great artists all over the world, it's a great industry. And yeah, the brands will need us. I don't know how, but they will.
Yeah, there'll always be a marketplace for ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we like to say to our students and people who approach us, there is this thing in the past, we used to be only creatives, and now we can be creators. There are so many tools, there are so many possibilities, and you can work with them to be a better creative, but like putting things out, like producing, bringing things to life. I think now we have this chance as well. We tend to think like we are afraid of the tools, but actually we can use the tools, we can learn the tools, we still have the possibility to do that. So let's do. And yeah, when you have the resources, you can play around, you can test things, and you can be successful. You can succeed in something. Kazu just did like this video. He can explain a little bit more, but like it went viral. Like it's crazy the things he's been doing with AI.
Yeah,
and it's insane. Like maybe a brand will approach him, like, or in the future things like this will be more common.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think everybody to some degree has to be creating, you know, I launched this podcast in 2017 when I started working on the Adobe business. And it was mainly because I wanted to I was like, oh shit, like I need to know this stuff. I need to know these tools. Even though I'm on the biz dev side, I need to know these tools like in a basic way to be able to talk about them. So that was why I launched the podcast, is to learn, you know, Audition and Creative Cloud and stuff like that. And then I never knew it would become like something where I would get like invited to Cannes and CES and all this stuff.
That's funny because it's basically the same reason I did this video, because our client now is Adobe as well.
Oh, let's go.
And
Congrats.
of course, we started like playing with Firefly. I've been using AI for a while, testing all the tools. But now with Firefly, I have all the tools available, and it's amazing. And I started like doing quick videos, and then I decided, oh, let me do this whole opening of the Dragon Ball Z anime from the 80s. Let me redo it in AI and see how it goes. And then like people started sharing and watching. It was like 2 million views, and I went from 2,000 followers to 8,000, and it's crazy. And now I've been doing this little nostalgia videos, bringing back some cartoons from the 80s and doing an AI version and posting, and people are liking, commenting. It's super fun. But yeah, that's it. These tools is like, I like to compare with the phone when we had the first smartphone with the camera, and everybody became photographers and posting like cool landscape photos or textures on Instagram. Everybody became a photographer, and now everybody can become a film director or a producer.
Yeah, that's a crazy insight. You know, I hadn't done anything with generative AI until today, actually. And I've had this idea for an ad that I've always wanted to create for myself as like a sales guy. It was like a founder who was kind of like shy, like pitching an ad tech product that was really complicated. And then at the end of it, it's like, can you sell that? And then just pause for a second, like, yeah, I could sell that. And then it's like The Hangover. They go through this like crazy, like, you know, year of like these fast photography of like them having all this experience until the company goes public. And I've always known, I was like, oh, this would cost a lot to make though. You know, I'd have to get like 10 grand together if I really wanted to do this. And then this morning I did the first sequence on Firefly, and it turned out pretty good, man. I'd say like 95%, like this is exactly what I would have wanted it to look like if I shot that first 12 seconds, you know, in a studio. So
it's super exciting. It's also a little bit scary because you have all the possibilities in the world. Like, what you're gonna do, right? You don't have a budget issue. You can hire the best talent to do this, and like you do it by yourself. But for example, I did one for Dungeons and Dragons, and I was doing, and then I thought, no, but maybe they could be the cast of Stranger Things. Why not? So I replaced all the faces and started doing with the cast of Stranger Things. Why not? So yeah, you have all the possibilities.
And even going back to the book, we used like some AI tools, for example, to translate some parts to help us, because it's different, the language, you know, like some terms. So it's good. You can compare, you can test, you can ask some questions to see if it's giving like the same kind of meaning that we wanted in Portuguese. And even like the way we produced here, the publishing part, like we use the whole Amazon thing. So, you know, like it's a content, it's live, you know, like, so it's possible.
Yeah, totally. I wrote my book with AI as well. But it was like, basically this guy, the ghostwriter, Nathan, he's not a ghostwriter because I actually, you know, I gave him credit, but he ghostwrites basically as a little agency. He lives in Brazil actually, but he's an American. One day he just like 2 years ago, he just got into his car and drove all the way to Brazil from LA.
Oh, that's
crazy, right? And but he ended up down there, and he basically like ghostwrites for rich people, helps them like build their social presence, like kind of like founder-led marketing for rich people that want to become famous, right? And I had introduced him to a few clients, and he wrote their book. So he's like, hey, dude, I'd love to pay you back for these intros. Like, I'd love to write a book for you. So all I did was show up to a Zoom call every Monday and talk, and he would ask me questions. And then he would put that all into AI to like clean it up and edit it. But then he would like move it around, add the case studies, come back to me with more questions the next week. So I feel like the book writing process, like you don't want AI to write a book, because who wants to read a book but from AI?
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, like whether it's creating spec film or like just like seeing what things look like what Kazoo was doing with like mashing up two genres, like it's just so easy now to like be like, oh, you have an idea, let's just see what it looks like, boom,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And
crazy.
for example, just comparing to the traditional method in Brazil, it took us 1 year. We had the content written, but it took us 1 year to publish with it in the traditional way. And with the Amazon AI thing, it took us 2 days, I think, because they disapproved the first one, and then we made a few tweaks, and then another day, and that's it.
That's wild.
Super easy.
So why 128? Was that just like you did even more and then you cut it down to 128 and that's what you had? Or like, is there something significant around having 128 principles?
No, it's just the final number. Yeah.
No, actually, we started like we had in our minds to write like 100 because it's like this round number, and then we wrote a few more tips, and it was like, yeah, we can do like 1, 2, 3, like 123 just to have this number. But then we wrote a few more, and it's like, yeah, it can be 128. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Look, the tips are more important. Let's keep them in the book.
I love it. And are they organized in a way like, there's like certain ones about a certain topic, and then, are they organized in a way where it's just like kind of 128, free flowing presentation, or are they grouped in like different themes?
Yeah, they're grouped in 3 different parts. I don't know if Kazu want to talk about something.
Just 3? No, there's more, right? It's more about how to behave. We have a chapter that is about how to behave in the market, in the advertising industry, how to show up. We have some about how to start. What are the tools you need, or we don't give like advice on how to have ideas, or how to write a headline, or how to comp a key visual. It's more about behavior and what to do and where to look for more information and this type of thing.
Yeah.
Do both of you guys have a favorite?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah,
let's go.
My favorite one is like we tell people to be the worst, because I realized at some point in my life that I was in a place and I was feeling, oh my God, I'm the best here, and I'm bad. I'm not good. So this is a terrible sign. So I need to move to a place where I'm the worst, so people around me are better than me, and I can learn from them. And then when I reach their level, I can go to another place and be the worst again. And even like comparing to sports, right? If you're playing in Brazil, let's say, for a team, and you feel like you're the best, okay, move to Europe or to a club that is better, and then learn from them, and then go to another one. So I think this works for a bunch of industries.
Yeah, I love that idea. They always say like, buy the worst house in the best neighborhood if you want your house to go up in value, because you're like, you're amongst, people of a common ilk to some degree. But I think that's good advice. It's when you're surrounded by people who are all executing at a really high level, you just really don't have any choice but to like either put in more hours, put in more reps, do whatever you have to do to get better. It's like going to the gym, or like you said, like getting better at sports. So actually, Lucas, go ahead.
No, and there's another one that is related to this, that is power before money. That is a Frank Underwood sentence from House of Cards. He used to say this, but that's super true. You, especially in the beginning of your career, you cannot make decisions based on money. Of course, if you really need it, that's fine. But for the long term, you should make decisions based on opportunities and where you're going to be the worst, and learn from people. And then in a few years, you'll be way better than if you took an opportunity just for $1,000 or something like this.
Yeah, there's one thing that is super, super, super important for us, even these days, and actually, especially these days, which is like the most difficult thing in the like being a creative is not to come up with an idea, is to come up with an idea after it gets reproved. Like after people don't like the idea, even your partner, like you always have to convince people. And the most difficult part is to go back to your desk and rework and do everything again, and like responding to the brief, responding to everything that is been asked. It's endless learning, this topic, especially this one. We have to do this every day. So you know
Yeah, that's a good one too. It's like even and to some degree, I've been reading Cameron Day's book as well, and he talks a lot about that idea of like, you can't get so married to an idea that, you either rub your teammates the wrong way, or even worse, like you rub the client the wrong way, and the client's like, I don't want to work with this guy anymore. Get him off my business.
Yeah.
He's not flexible. He thinks he knows the brand better than me. He doesn't understand who our consumer is. He's trying to win a statue. He's not trying to move the results of the company. So, I think we can all fall victim to like falling in love with our own concepts and our own ideas. So I think that's really good as well. All right. What do you guys think is the biggest misconception that people have about starting a career in the advertising industry? Obviously Mad Men didn't do us any favors, right? It was like different time, different culture, and, programming and writing for 3 channels. And now like the world has changed so much because of digital and, AI and tools. But is there a misconception that you think people like, well, one that I think is really funny is like a lot of people that start working at media agencies, they don't even know what they're getting into, right? They're like, oh, advertising, I'm going to go to a media agency. And then they're like stuck in spreadsheets instead of like making advertising. So is there a misconception that you see that people kind of new to the industry have that you wanted to try and dismantle in the book?
Yeah, I think one of the main ones is that they think they need to be creative, and they might feel afraid. I used to feel afraid, like, oh, I'm not creative. I can't like solve a brief in a creative way. I'm not a creative person. But this is an exercise. You learn. It's a skill. You can develop it. So there are techniques, and of course, the more you do, the better you get. So it's something you can improve. So I would say people don't need to be afraid if they don't think they are not creative. We always start our first class asking if someone feels they're not creative, and people raise their hands. Yeah, I don't feel I'm creative. So yeah, no worries. You got time. Just practice, just learn a few things, and maybe we can help you. So yeah, this is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, that's a good point. I love hearing from creative leaders that, allow to the possibility that creativity can come from anywhere. A lot of times I'll sit in creative meetings when I'm invited, and I'll always like preface, I'll be like, I'll throw out an idea, but then I'll be like, but I'm just a sales guy. And like, it's almost like I'm almost like dismissing that I could ever have a good idea, just by, always ending it with, I'm just a sales guy. But I think you're right,
But to your point, and this is something that we have in our books, and in our book, and we like to say, there's this word. We believe that this word would solve almost, if not all, the problems of advertising, which is respect. If you respect people, if you respect the process, you're gonna succeed. The whole thing will be good.
I love that. So a lot of aspiring creatives obsess over tools, and also like, trying to, jump onto things that are trending. What are the foundational skills or habits that you think matter more than, tools and trends?
We actually like to have ideas that are timeless, and they don't rely on a tool or on a platform. If you have, let's say you have an idea for Snapchat, and then in 2 years no one cares about Snapchat. So we tell people to have like powerful concepts and crafted executions, and that's it. Advertising is simple as that. It's just these 2 elements. Of course, it's super hard to have a powerful concept, something that is true, that it's a human behavior, and you kind of use that in a smart way that no one has done before. with a crafted execution. So it's basically these two elements. But of course, AI right now, it's impossible to how can I say, to avoid. And yeah, you need to know, especially when I started, I felt like people around me, they didn't know 3D. So that was the way I could find opportunities as a junior art director. Oh, like I know 3D, so I can help you. I can help the team with this skill no one has. So that was cool at the time. And then I started learning other things, and now I think it's AI. So if you know everything about AI, you're gonna be useful for your boss, for your team, for the company. So yeah.
Yeah, but we are generalists. We are not specialists. So what we try to do, and this is something that I even learned with Kazoo, from Kazoo, try to learn something new every, I don't know, each 6 months. So he used to do this. Like in Brazil, we have 2 hour lunch. We can spend 2 hours having lunch. So we used to go like to a place and sit down, like talk to people, like talk between us and da da da. And then he said, Lucas, I think I want to use this time to learn typography. So instead of like spending 2 hours, we used to spend 40 minutes, which is already like very good enough. And we like went back to the agency, used to go back to the agency, and he started like learning and watching videos. And he even created this pen, like to use, because it's a different one, like for typography. And it was like something that I observed, and like, yeah. And like in the next 6 months, he did something different. I don't know, I don't remember which was what the thing was, but he does this. So I learned a lot from him. So every time that when I learn something, and we encourage people to always learn something, always. So for example, we have this tip in our book to learn how to play an instrument. And then I was like, I don't know how to play an instrument, and I have this in my book. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start like some harmonica lessons to have these classes. And of course, I don't know how to play, but enough to know a little bit of the language, like the terms, like how the equipment works and what it is. So like we think this way. Try to learn something every day, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You don't have to kill yourself. Don't die, like just find some time for yourself to dedicate to yourself. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's smart. And I love that idea around the instrument. There are certain things you can do like as activities or hobbies that kind of, coincide with creativity, whether that's like expressional sports like surfing or snowboarding that have style and like kind of a flow to it, or playing music, or, even doing like chores, like going in the backyard and like, hauling brush or whatever. Like that's a good thing to do to just like clear your mind. I feel like, with all the stimulus coming at you by your phone or wearable devices, or it's kind of hard to get away from technology sometimes. So sometimes just going out and doing that kind of stuff can be really good.
About this, we like this comparison between Superman and Batman, because Superman is like perfect. He was born like this, right? He's not from Earth. He's an alien. He's like super strong, super fast. He has this powerful laser eyes and fast. And I think I said fast already, but he's handsome. He's everything, and he's perfect. But he was born like this, right? So Batman, on the other hand, he faced a trauma. He lost his parents, so he started training and learning martial arts. He developed guns and tools, and put together a team to help him, and develop like the Batmobile and everything. So he became a superhero. And that's what we say. I like to say, like, if you're not born like Superman, if you're not Superman, start working to be Batman. And no worries, of course, it takes time. It will take like 20 years to 10 years at least to know a little bit of everything, and to put together all these skills and do it. But you can do it in every opportunity you have. So, for example, Lucas and I, we did this book a few years ago. We love books. We have a bunch of books. Actually, Lucas is publishing his third book.
Let's go, man.
Yeah.
Congrats. That's
but
awesome.
We did this for our agency, for Puma, and it was a flip book. It's also
that's
an
sick.
animation. but also tells the story behind the record of Usain Bolt. So each page tells a little bit of his story, and if you flip it, you see the animation of the race. So we did it all by ourselves. It's like 224 pages. We did it in 6 months, putting all the knowledge we have, like illustrating, creating the animation, and Lucas writing the book and everything, and designing the pages. We wanted to feel each page different, so the design is not a template. Each page is different. So yeah, that was crazy. And every time you do something, you have the opportunity to learn new skills and also apply the ones you have, and that's it.
And the great thing is, once
Love it.
you finish the job, once you accomplish the thing, you have this story to tell about yourself, but like using, like a work, you use the work to show a new ability that you have, a new skill that you built. So it's like it's amazing actually, because you're learning and then you're applying, like you're testing, and then you're showing the world that you came up with something using your own skills. So it's kind of like perfect, the whole thing, the whole cycle.
I love it. So we've talked a little bit about AI, but I feel like it's kind of an unavoidable topic right now. But I do feel like we're out of like the hype cycle phase of AI that was like the last year maybe. And now we're into like, okay, like how does this stuff really like work and save time and add value to clients and add value to the creative process? As creatives, what are the most helpful uses of AI that you've seen that have either augmented or enhanced your ability as a creative? Like, how are you seeing AI practically show up in the work that you're doing every day?
No, it's changing everything. First of all, is like so easy to prototype and see the product ready before going to production, before spending millions. So you can test a bunch of options, you can see it and compare them. So this is great for comping, for imagery, for presentations. It's absurd, amazing. You can put the talent in the location and the specific type of lighting you want. So yeah, it's changed. I like to say that for the first time, being an art director has been fun because in the past was struggling at night, like 10 p.m., trying to comp something, and the result was shitty, right? And now in a few seconds, you have a great image, and that's it. And it's getting better and better every time. Now you have high resolution images. You have so many possibilities. It's so exciting, but at the same time, it's concerning. It's changing everything. So I really don't know.
Yeah. One of the things that I've heard, I saw a client do, some work for Reebok recently. And one of the things that they've mentioned is like, actors aren't going away. Creatives aren't going away because you still need the ideas. Really what AI is doing is it's allowing like brands to punch above their weight class. So like, if you had some crazy scene that was going to cost you $200,000 and it was an explosion or something like that, or like a car chase, like normally you couldn't do that like with a limited budget. But now like you still have the same actors, you still have the same, like maybe production, you don't need the same amount of production crew, which is, probably where it's going to be most impactful, I think, is like on the post-production process and like the physical production process of film. But it's allowing brands that have limited budgets to like do stuff that can compete with brands that have big budgets. And it's also allowing challenger brands to like compete with bigger brands.
We actually were discussing this a few days ago, and we put together a list of 5 things that are the main things that AI is changing. First one is like creative accessibility. Now everybody can be creator, everybody can be a director, everybody can post their work in a nice way. So even the quality of the work is growing. Like you see Instagrams, like even memes are like super well produced. Like you see, I love soccer, so I see like Neymar, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi
so
playing
funny.
together, doing stuff, funny stuff, and it's perfect. It's like they're singing a song, and it's super funny. Speed of production. It's the process is gonna be super fast now, way faster. So we will see more stuff, more films, more videos, more everything And I said I was doing some videos. In the past 3 weeks, I've done 14 videos, and this would take me a lot of time in the past. So no, it wasn't possible. Now it is. Uh, the costs, lower costs now, because well, we have to be cheaper, right? Something used to take a long time to do, now you can do it in minutes. So yeah, lower costs, uh, expanded imagination. You can basically do whatever you want. So where's the craziest version of this idea, right? It's not, if you don't have a budget limit, if you don't have anything in front of you to stop this idea, what is the best version, the craziest version? And yeah, that's it. Explosion of content everywhere, new stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love that you guys have actually spent some time about like outlining into the 5 different ways that it's going to change creativity and increase the speed and velocity of especially like on social and video and things like that. What mistakes do you see young creatives repeat when they come into agencies that you think might stall their careers before they really start?
Well, there's one. I think they are too concerned about like solving the problem. Oh, I need to solve the problem. But no, they're junior creatives. They don't need to solve the problem. There are like senior people, and even their boss, their creative directors, will be responsible for solving it. So what we expect from them is actually the opposite. Hey, bring me the craziest idea you have, or something fresh that I don't know about, something from TikTok that I haven't even installed in my phone because I'm older. So yeah, bring me something I can't come up with. Of course, I will solve the problem for the clients. No worries. Feel free to bring anything you want. You think it's good enough to be in your book. So yeah.
That's great. What do you think separates junior creatives who get noticed quickly versus those who kind of stay stuck and don't move up as fast?
I think Lucas.
Tough question. I'm just watching. It's like,
No,
oh, it's a tough one. I'm not answering this one.
one thing for sure is energy. We
Yeah.
love like high energy people who brings a lot of ideas and questions, and they're always there for us and available to do the work. This is actually the basic, right? You're hired to be there, to be available, to contribute, and you don't see this very often. I don't know if people are shy or afraid of making mistakes, but the ones that are like fearless and they show up and they try to do stuff, they are the ones that shine faster for sure.
It's funny because it's the opposite. The more you put yourself out, the more you try to be yourself and put it like bring the stuff that you like, the topics that you like to work, the more successful you're gonna be. It's crazy, but like yeah, like because then you're feeling free to give your opinion. You're feeling free to say something out loud, and might sound like not great, but you know like you're not concerned about it, so you tend to make less mistakes. It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's almost feels having like a humble confidence is important.
Yeah,
Like not being not having, bravado and trying to insert yourself into every situation, but not being afraid to bring your ideas to the table and bring them often. And then
I'll give you
also go ahead.
no, I'll give you a practical example. All the brands, global brands especially, they have the brand guidelines, very very strict rules. So you need to follow them, especially for an art director. And yes, of course, we need to follow. We need to deliver whatever the client is asking. This is our job. But at the same time, we want to be creative. We want to propose something we believe in, and it's always up to us to bring another option. Like, yeah, we can present, hey, this is your template, and that's great, it's working. But also for this audience, maybe this visual language is more interesting, and then you start like putting your style or things you believe it's interesting in, and just present it as option. And there's no from our experience, clients are gonna love it because they love creativity.
Mm.
They don't want just the template. The template, they can do it by themselves, and now with AI they can like upload the template and have the results. If you bring something that is not expected, it's always going to be well seen. Even if they don't approve, they will see with good eyes, like, okay, this is the right attitude. We're not going to approve this one because we have the rules, but we like you, and let's keep the conversation going.
One thing that
Yeah.
is one thing that is relevant as well is not to present ideas that you don't like. You know, like, because it's very common. Oh, the creative presents the ideas like, but do you like this one? Yeah, no, actually I don't like. So okay, so don't present it, you know,
Why'd you bring it? Yeah,
yeah,
right.
you know, like, because that's it. Like sometimes, of course, you're testing the criteria, you're trying to understand like the what the person likes, but the most important thing is to bring like nice stuff, things that you're proud of. It's more likely for a creative director, for your boss to like the ideas you are excited about, you know. So it's important. It's kind of like the first criteria that we try to set with the creatives we work with, is like, just bring me things that you like, you know. And then of course you are showing your criteria as well, so you're forcing yourself to level up the game, you know, like present better things. And that's how we get better ideas from the people who we work with.
I love that. And it sounds like point of view is important too. So like, where'd you grow up? What things are you interested in? What are your hobbies? What are the subcultures that you immerse yourself in? What are the influences on you from an artistic and a creative perspective? Like bringing those things to the table sounds important too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. How important is portfolio versus attitude and just curiosity and the willingness to be collaborative? Do you look at attitude or the work or the resume as more important?
No, the attitude for sure is more important. The work they can learn, especially in the beginning. Of course, it's good to have a good portfolio to show that you already have some good references, that you know the trends. This is very important, but it's like, I don't know, 35, 40%. And then you go to the interview. Uh, it's basically the portfolio is a hook for the interview. On the interview, you need to be 100% there with the right energy and attitude, and that's it. It's way more important than the work you did, because we know you didn't have many opportunities so far. We know you're biased by what you had. So yeah, attitude for sure.
Yeah, we don't like to review portfolios. We like to like see portfolios, but we don't like to review, just because like it's almost unfair. You know, you're talking about things that are ready, and things like that are related to things that you don't know. You know, like, and like you don't know how the idea started, and like how the budget, like how much money the person had to produce something. So we don't like to talk about portfolios itself. But it's very important what Kazu said. You know, like you have to have some things in your mind, and yeah.
Yeah, there's one thing we love to see is when the person has a side project.
Hmm.
So we
Interesting.
we know they are 100% responsible for that. So we can evaluate. Okay, you did that all by yourself, so you'll be able to help in a variable ways here at the agency. Because sometimes they have a bunch of great big campaigns in the book, but they were just working for the right people, in the
Mm.
beginning, especially.
Yeah,
So having a side project is very important.
it's very important. Yeah, the portfolio is the business card. You know, it's how you get in front of the person you want to talk to, and then you have to do the work. You have to be there, present. So we encourage people to study the interviewer. You know, like, so know about their story, the things they did in the past. Study about advertising. It's very important as well. It's another topic. Sometimes people, oh yeah, I don't want to like copy things from the past that like they're old. No, but it's important to see like some insights, or how people used to do advertising in the past. Some things can be replicated, some things they are just adapted, and some things will be, of course, very new. uh But yeah.
Yeah, there's some classic concepts that are timeless and some legends like Ogilvy and others that, you really can't
Even
not.
to learn the things that you shouldn't do. It's important.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, you've spent some of your New Year's Day with me. I really appreciate it. Thanks for making time tonight. Where would you like to point the audience to learn more about what you guys are doing or to buy the book?
Well, add us on LinkedIn for sure, and follow us on Instagram. My Instagram is Kazuo Designs. They can shoot us messages, and we always try to reply everybody as fast as we can. And we can chat, we can reply, we can help them or whatever we can. So yeah, we are
Love it. Lucas, anywhere you want to send people to?
No, send everyone to Kazoo. No, just kidding. No, they can. Of course, they can add me. No, of course, add me on LinkedIn. On Instagram, I just post like personal stuff. So I don't know if it's interesting, but it's Lucas Ribeiro, 22. And no, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you and like had a super nice conversation. So awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. And for everybody following along at home, if this is the first time you're seeing the show, don't forget to give us a follow or a subscribe. If you're listening to the podcast, an honest review is how we find a bigger audience organically. And last but not least, if there is a young person out there who you think wants to get into the industry, maybe a young creative, or maybe just somebody in agency land who you think would enjoy the conversation I had with Alex and Lucas today, don't forget to share the show. And with that, wishing you guys a Happy New Year and a very successful 2026.
Thank you so much.